For me, it's about redefining what it is to be African. It's about connecting with our ancestors, because there's a lot of history across the continent that shows that queer Africans have always been sexual diversity in Africa. But unfortunately, post-colonial African has redefined or have created a perception of Africa that's not really African. So to me, it's about redefining what it means to be African. It's also about freedom to choose who to love and who not to love, you know.
So, hello everyone, and welcome to VoiceIt with the Voice of Africa. This is our second episode, and today we are touching on a very important subject, which is the LGBTQIA plus in Africa. Today I have a lot of special guests with us. We're going to start with Nolo.
Hi. Oh, hello everyone. My name is Nolo. I'm 24 years of age. I'm actually known for being the first trans woman to participate in this essay. Besides that, I'm a human rights activist, mostly for the LGBTQI and women and children. My pronouns are she and her, and identify myself as a heterosexual trans woman.
Thank you. Next we have Kiki.
Hi everyone, I am Bandy Kiki. I am a Cameroonian based in the UK. I am an entrepreneur as well as an LGBTQ activist. I am also a trustee for Rainbow Migration, which just rebranded from UK LGIG. I am also a trustee for Black Beetle Health and a director for Living Free UK. My pronouns are her, she, and I definitely do like being referred to as Kiki.
Thank you very much. And last but not least, we have Tracy.
Hi, my name is Tracy. I work with LGBT Plus Rights Ghana, based in Accra, Ghana. I am the programs director. I am also an activist and a queer woman. My pronouns are they, she, and I'm looking forward to an interesting conversation. I also like to go by Trey. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you guys very much. So the first question I would like to throw out there is, can you guys please define, what being an LGBTQIA plus activist is?
Okay, for me personally, being part of the LGBTQIA plus community, in small definition, I say it shows that sexuality is a spectrum and love is love. So there is no need for a person to be judged based on who they love. After all, Jesus Christ died for us because of love. Mm-hmm. So being part of the LGBTQIA plus show that there is the diversity within the love. So yeah.
That's interesting. So, you just talked about Jesus Christ, and, I feel like a lot of people use Jesus Christ as a means to, justify hate towards,
which I don't understand.
Yeah.
Because Jesus is not love. He literally died for all of us because of our sins. So clearly he does have love that has no pride, that has no boundaries. So yeah. I usually use religion for my sexuality, right. Funny enough, but I strongly believe in Jesus. I strongly believe in God.
No, it's actually really funny as well, because I would think as though that you would hate, God or hate Jesus just because so many people claim to be Christians, and they use Jesus as a means of saying, hey, Jesus says this is a sin or that's a sin. So, they'll totally disregard.
The funny thing about this is what we are all sinners. No one is perfect. So how would you want to justify my sin based on how I live my life? Why can't you focus on your life, do what you do on a daily basis and sin however you want? And let me focus on my sins, because at the end of the day, I'll be the one who'll be repenting and dying for what, burning for whatever I was doing in earth. So let me be.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's the best way, to go about. I'm so glad that as well that Jesus is love, because it hurts me so much when I meet people, and they have conversations or have experiences with certain Christians, and, because of that, they disregard God, as a whole. And my whole thing is like, God loves you for you. Like, I can't come and tell you what I'm doing. Yesterday I was sinning or committing adultery, like most of these people in Ghana, talking about, passing away policies or bills and stuff like that. They're over here cheating with their wives, doing all these things, scamming, but then all of a sudden being gay is like a total outlaw, and they want to throw people in jail, for that. It is kind of sense, to be at all. Kiki, what's your view on like the whole religion aspect when it comes to?
I think I'd first of all like to start by answering the first question that you mentioned. Yeah. You talked about the LGBTQ movement, what our personal thoughts about it. For me, it's about redefining what it is to be African. It's about connecting with our ancestors, because there's a lot of history across the continent that shows that queer Africans have always been sexual diversity in Africa. But unfortunately, post-colonial African has redefined or have created a perception of Africa that's not really African. So to me, it's about redefining what it means to be African. It's also about freedom to choose who to love and who not to love, coming back to what you said about religion. To be honest, I don't see it as a problem, or I don't blame queer Africans who sort of don't like religion. When something has been weaponized against you, when something has been used over years to subjugate you, to tell you're not good enough, it's natural in a way not to like it. The other part of it is I don't like when people refer to homosexuality as a sin, or when comments are made about because you sin differently. I feel like that brings a negative energy around homosexuality, and it also gives homophobes leeway to then subjugate us. I don't think I'm seen as a homosexual. I think I'm just being me. I'm being Kiki in all her glory, So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Oh, thank you for touching on that as well. Tracy, would you like to tell us your view?
Yeah. So being queer for me is being expansive, being free is what I like to say.
Right.
It's not conforming. And to me, it's more of a rebellion. It's more of rebelling against the status quo. Mm-hmm. And it's how my life has been, even before I accepted or came into the fact that I am a queer woman. I have always liked to go against the grain, right, even when I know that it is not sensible to do it. It is just this willpower to just go against it. Religion, I don't dabble. Even before I became, or I accepted that I was queer again, I moved away from the Christian religion because it didn't make sense to me in many ways. And at a point, I decided that when people ask me why I'm not Christian and like try to debate with me according to the Bible and all of that, I wouldn't engage, because they would find a way to find a phrase or a clause or a verse in there to trump your argument, and it's just wasted energy. And so that has transcended into the work I do as an activist. I don't dabble in religious debates and like try to change people's minds when it comes to religion and queer people, because like we all have that privacy and that right to practice what we want to in our corners. So if it's religion that you want to do, or it's like Christianity you want to do, that's totally fine. But I would not fill my headspace with this whole like sort of like trying to change your mind or trying to justify who I am based on your religion, basically.
No, I definitely like that stance that you have as well too. But I feel like at the end of the day, you just want your peace of mind, and I can relate with that particular subject. But for example, when it comes to like maybe race, last year we had the whole George Floyd thing happen, and I grew up I went to high school in all white school. I was literally like the only Black person in my school as well. So, now educating these people on, certain subjects, it's kind of tiring. And after a while, you realize that some people just don't listen, and like you can talk to them and educate them as much as you want, but it just goes through one ear, goes through another ear, So it's like, hey, believe what you want, say what you want, Charlie. It's not affecting me anyway. I don't care, type thing. So I definitely like that, that vibe that you have as well. Another question that I have is how, when did you guys decide to come out, and like how did you know like this was the right time?
For me, I don't believe in the word coming out. Like I've always known who I am. Like I was born the way I am. So there is no need for me to come out of what? A closet. I've never been there. I've always lived my life publicly. So there is no need for me to educate. I mean, to say come out. The only thing you do as a queer person, I think, just try to educate and make your surrounding to understand what you're actually going through. So yeah, that's the only way you can go about it. And I've actually started educating my parents about being trans. All along, I've identified myself as a gay boy when I was growing up. But like as soon as I reached 16, 17, that's when I came to realize that I'm actually not gay. I felt trapped in my body because I never imagined myself being a man growing up. I've always imagined myself as a woman. And I didn't want to end up being a drag queen, participating in shows. No, I wanted to live my life like a normal woman, a heterosexual woman. So that's when I actually started educating my parents about the trans community, which I came across Wikipedia in 2012 when Jenna Talogova was participating to become Miss Universe Canada. So yeah, so I came across her, then I started learning about the trans community. Then I decided to educate my parents about transitioning, which I did get their full support. Wow. And yeah, after that, life has been Lehlogonolo as a woman.
No, definitely. I'm very, happy as well that you've been able to be fully comfortable, being who you are. Kiki.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, so I'm excited that you are able to, be comfortable in your own body, and your parents were able to do that as well.
Because what's the point of living if you're not really happy about who you are? Yeah. I feel like your biggest enemy is yourself. So the moment you conquer that, nothing will ever stand your way. I've managed to conquer my biggest fear, which is not becoming a man. Now I am a woman. So yeah.
I definitely respect that for sure. I feel like that's so brave, and I'm so happy for you that you've been able to do that, especially in like a society that looks down upon, frowns down upon that, the whole trans community or LGBT community as a whole. So big ups to you for sure.
On my end, I wish we're all as self-aware as Nolo at a very young age. Unfortunately, I wasn't, and I think a lot of people within the community as well can identify with this. I think for me, it was around my mid-teens when I, started noticing my own feelings and became self-aware. And it also took me a while to accept myself. I see the closet as some sort of a battle, to be honest with you, where you're trying to figure out who you are. You're trying to, you're looking at the community around you, for somebody like me, and trying to see yourself represented in the community, and there's nobody like you within the community. It's also where you negotiate, because I grew up again in a conservative Catholic home, is where I was negotiating my religion or my faith and my sexuality, becoming aware of the laws in Cameroon around homosexuality and all that. But to be honest with you, I mean, I wish we're all like Nolo. I wish we could all figure out ourselves at a very young age, because it takes a lot of pain to navigate, to, again, self-acceptance being the main key discussion here. So yeah, it was hard for me. It wasn't very easy for me, to be honest with you. I think around the time when I also became self-aware, there was a publication in the media outing top politicians who were LGBT, and there was like this witch hunt and violent language used against them. And to me, that was a reflection of my future as well. So it was a very terrifying moment for me. When I eventually moved to the UK, it took a while even to come out in a country like the UK, because I am used to a country where you can't trust the police, where you know enough not to trust the police, where you know enough not to trust the laws, where the laws can be manipulated and used against you. So it took me a while to relax and before coming out here in the UK.
People touching on that as well. Like that's just so sad, just hearing, you can't be free as a human being. In some countries in Africa, like as you were saying, that just like dawn upon my heart, because there's countless of people. I can only imagine the amount of people out there in Cameroon and Ghana, that are still going through this and still, fighting that battle. But hopefully with this story that, hearing your story, they have hope that, things get better, in the future. Tracy, would you like to touch on that?
Of course. For me, coming out hasn't been it hasn't been a very relatable scene for me. In the sense that when I became aware that I was queer, I was in a relationship with a heterosexual man who was quite homophobic. Our friends were homophobic. Almost everybody I hang with was homophobic. But that relationship ended, and it wasn't because I realized I was queer. It was other things that added to it. When that relationship ended, it was almost like a turn. I went for a festival, which was it's called Adventures. It's a feminist festival, but it's centered around sex, and it gives platforms to so many key groups, and especially the LGBT community. So it was a 2-day event. I went and I met a group of people who have become my chosen family right now. My family hasn't neglected me or thrown me out, but they are just people who made it very comfortable to be myself. And so with them, there was no need to come and sit people down or tell people, hey, I'm queer. It just felt really, really natural. We just moved along. It was a group of allies and queers alike. And so it was very, very organic for me. And it was through this group that I started understanding what it is that I was going through. And it helped because I did all of this in a positive way. I didn't have to beat myself or bash myself or be angry with myself for who I was or who I was realizing that I am. And so that's it. And then regarding family, my sister is quite aware. We've had conversations around it. And I think it, in all, it's been a very smooth ride for me. It's and I don't also feel the need to come out to people, to let people know about me being queer. There's no pressure in that direction for me, at least. So yeah, basically.
Can I just add something? Tracy, by the way, I think a chosen family is something that every queer African needs, to be honest with you, or every queer person needs, because it can be very supportive, isn't it? Can I just say something about coming out? I think
I agree.
There's an assumption around the globe or across the continent that everybody is heterosexual. And I think coming out sort of is a rude awakening again, because it's up to individuals, but I feel like coming out also helps our cause in certain ways. It challenges them, their thoughts, because if, for example, I went to an event, I can't remember what year it was, to an African event, and I was sat there by myself, and this lady asked me, so do you have any children? Do you have any husband? The assumption, because I'm a woman of a certain age, is that I have a husband somewhere, you understand? And I had to come out to her to say that, no, I'm not heterosexual, I'm a lesbian actually, and if there were anybody, it would be a woman at home, you see. So again, to me, that's the thing. People do make these assumptions and we have to challenge them by coming out. Coming out might be a bit different in different ways to some people, but I feel like people, we always come out even when we like it or not,
Can I add something?
I agree.
Can I add something?
Yes.
I actually, coming out, I do believe in coming out, but also I don't agree with the word coming out. Coming out, it sounds as if you are hiding from somewhere. So I usually use the word educate people about your sexuality so that they can understand, because the moment you come out, you just say, I'm lesbian, okay, bye. But the moment you educate a person, you just want them to understand what you're feeling, how you identify yourself. So this coming out stories, rather educate and be something that other people can actually look up to.
Trey, would you like to touch on the bill in Ghana, on what's going on right now? I don't know if you know information on that.
The bill. So I don't know if you'd like for me to start from scratch or to just like give an update on what's happening right now.
We
From
need
scratch, please. From
Yeah,
scratch.
Right. Awesome.
Get
So I guess like everybody should just relax, like relax your shoulders and your jaws because you're about to tense up, especially like for my queer folks. So it all started in 2019, where the World Congress of Family, an extremist group from Europe and some from the USA, came to Ghana to have or to host like a 3-day event. And they had this event with the group called Proper Family. Oh God, I need to get the name because it's very necessary. So give me a second. But this group is the group that is pushing the bill right now. It's called Proper Human Sexual Values. It's a very intense name. So they had this meeting with these people. Yes, it's called the Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Values. So that's the name of the coalition. And it's made up of some MPs and some other prominent people in the society and some of the religious leaders. So this meeting was had, and in that 3-day meeting, it was agreed to present a bill to Parliament to criminalize the activities of LGBT groups and allies and parents and friends and almost everybody, service providers, everybody that's literally connected to the LGBT community one way or the other, because we are human beings. And so it means that services are provided to us. We are in spaces that heteros are. And so if you are providing that kind of service to us, the bill incriminates you. So, and this meeting was infiltrated by some of our community members. And so I'm going to drop a link after I talk to it's a journal, to a document written by one of the community members that's infiltrated, and then how like everything went from her perspective. And then there are also like videos of some of the things that were said in that meeting. So this group, I would like to say, this is not their first time trying to pass such laws in Africa. They've been to Uganda, they've been to Nigeria. And so Ghana is just to test the waters. And you could see that Ghana is also, up until now, one of the most democratic republics in the West African region. Although it's all PR and a sham, our politicians are almost diplomatic and very professional in their dealings. So that is what makes it look like we have a very democratic republic. But yeah, that's not really it. So this happened in 2019, and then COVID hit in 2020. So of course you can't bring an anti-LGBT bill when we are battling a pandemic. It makes no sense. Then 2021 comes, and as always, the community is scapegoated. So we opened an office, which is my organization, LGBT Plus Rights Ghana. We opened an office. The objective of the office was to have a community space, one, and also to have a space to document all of these abuses, because you would have people send you emails or messages on your social media letting you know that, hey, I've been blackmailed here, or this person beat me up with pretense of being a gay person. So I was going to meet them, or under the pretense of being an LGBT person. So I was going to like meet them and they beat me up, and the police would not follow up. So all of this was for the community. But then the pictures we took from there went viral. And what especially went viral was the pictures with the diplomatic community that came to support the opening. And so the narrative was that the diplomatic communities have opened an LGBT center in the country and they are promoting LGBT narratives. And that blew up. It blew up. The churches wrote so many letters to Parliament and the president to shut down the place. And in the end, it was the landlord that sold us out and brought policemen and media people to come and shut down the place. And so we lost that space and things cooled down a bit. And then we had the issue of a group of people having a party in some parts of, I think, Kumasi, I'm not sure. that's were all arrested because they said it was a lesbian wedding. They were released, fortunately, after at least, I think, 3 days. And then after that, we had a whole 21 issue where 21 activists were arrested for attending an event that was for attending a workshop that was to educate them on their rights and also paralegal duties. And the basis of their arrest was that they were they were arrested for something about public, like disturbing public peace. I should get the proper statement, but I would also like share the link to Human Rights Watch's research that they came to conduct and then their documentation of the abuses. So they were arrested on those charges and kept in prisons for 3 weeks. And in this 3 weeks, it was activists of the community and some community members and also the diasporans who sent funds. It was us that took care of all these 21 people. The government doesn't take care of people in remand. And so everything fell on us. People who got sick were taken care of by us. It was a very, very trying time for the whole community. It was very draining. People had to, and they weren't arrested in the main parts of the country. They were arrested in another region, which is quite remote. And so having to move from Accra to that side all the time was very, very, very draining on the community. And you realize that with all of this, we are not able to do the work we want to do. We're not able to educate, we're not able to move forward because we're always trying to mitigate the effects of things thrown at us from different directions. And it doesn't help in like fostering growth. So that happened, the 21 happened. And after that, it was couched by these people that have brought this bill that there is an increase in LGBT activities in the country. And so they want to introduce a bill. And so we see from all of this narrative that instead of like, of course, they won't say the truth that World Congress of Family is funding this bill that they've brought. But they threw dust in the eye of the Ghanaian people to say that there are so many activities going on, and so we are bringing a bill to criminalize all these people. And the tagline they're using is to like save the children and for public health safety or some thing like that. So the bill has been in Parliament has had its first reading. Parliament went on recess and resumes on the 26th of October, I think, and there'll be another reading. But before then, when Parliament went on recess, it opened a committee, it formed a committee to go through the bill and receive memos from the public and then bring back its reports on the implications of it. It's been really wonderful this period because there have been so many people that have sent memos against the bill, explaining in very, very well detailed documents how the bill trumps upon every single right in the books and how the bill has reaching effect, how this will just set a precedent for other key groups to be able to be discriminated against without any accountability from any person. And so that's what it has been so far. And we realized that there has been a shift in discussions this past 2 weeks. Initially, when the bill was brought up, the opposition, or those who brought the bill, of course, the opposition, because I'm speaking for my people, the opposition was very loud in the media, touting like very, very serious allegations. And I don't want to repeat them here because that's just giving them space. But they said very, very damaging things to the community, about the community, comparing LGBT folks to so many damaging things. And the Ghanaian people, of course, will not, and this is not just to say like everybody, but their target population will not care enough to read about the queer community. And so it still falls back on us. But back when they brought it, most of the conversation was in their favor. And then after the memos were submitted and some prominent people also submitted memos, we've had a conversation being two-sided now. There's pushback from the community and its allies. And then there's also pushback from those who brought the bill because they were not anticipating this amount of support against it. They really thought they were going to bring it, the Ghanaian people were going to take it, and it was going to be passed so soon and so fast. But I'm very happy to say that there has been some opposition.